Hello, everybody. My name is Frank William Orlando Jr., and also my hippie guru name, Rainbow Family of Living Light, nickname is Flicker Feather, which I don't really use that much anymore, so I don't go to rainbow gatherings anymore. Um, so I want to talk about my family heritage and my background, a little bit about my life, and because we never know when our last day is. And I had shared recently about what my uncle had shared with me about my family heritage. Like when he, just before he moved up to South Carolina, when he was running a steering wheel business and he worked as a fleet mechanic, um, he just pulls me off and had shared about Vigor, the prime minister of Italy, and Vittorio Emauele Orlando. And I think, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. And he didn't go into any long story. He just said, I think we are descendant of him, and didn't go beyond that. And I know I have other things. As many Americans, we are mixed, and so Italian is not the only thing. So I don't look very Italian, maybe traditional Italian. And Italians are mixed because the Roman culture uh, brought people from all over, just like the United States did. People have mixed. In southern Italy and northern Italy, my uncle explained to me that northern Italy tends to be more like Switzerland and stuff because of the Swiss Alps and stuff. And recently, um, the big Mediterranean island uh, that are just off of Italy's coast, I mean, culturally and ethnically, there are some differences they feel, and which I'm not familiar with because my father didn't really acknowledge his heritage. He didn't talk about it, and only person is my uncle, and that was it. Just that, as far as my culture. And then before my grandmother passed away, I tried to ask her about my dad's father, because, and here's the thing, what happened when my dad was 5, and his older brother, Anthony Orlando, who was about a little more than a year older than my father. My dad was born in 1946, and so Tony was born in 1945. When my dad was 5 or 6, somewhere in that range, his father died, supposedly. And there isn't a lot of information. It just he had the same name as my dad's older brother, Anthony, and Anthony Orlando. So I don't know. I don't know how the trail leads up to the Prime Minister of Italy. We don't know, and no one has ever confirmed that. And that I can't say 100% sure. I mean, that's all I know. That was just shared with me by uncle. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean anything, but it's all I have. And so my dad, what happened supposedly is his dad drove off a bridge, or had an accident that caused the vehicle to come off the bridge. Now, 1 week later, a man that looked like my dad's dad came by, and my dad told me this. This is the only thing my dad said. There was a man that looked like my dad. My dad's supposed to be dead. And mom says, no, that's your uncle. So, and he didn't acknowledge him as his uncle. So this was an uncle that just came out of nowhere, I guess. The man, my dad's mom, is Catherine. And from my understanding, my dad's dad was older than Catherine. By how much? I don't know. But he was more mature, much older from what I gathered. But she found him absolutely. When I sat down with my grandmother for the last time, I was 23 years old. And when she talked about Mr. Orlando, probably her first husband, she just rolled her eyes and smiled and told, and had, in her eyes, she thought of him as being dark and romantic, darker complected or whatever. But my uncle suggested that we were a lighter complected Italian. His father was lighter complected. So there is a conflicting story. And so my father and my uncle, all of their Italian heritage, they didn't learn anything. And I mean, it just stopped. And my grandmother, my dad's mother, really just, she went through a number of relationships. The interesting thing that plays a big heavy role, when my dad's dad passed away, he supposedly had quite a bit of money. Catherine, which is my grandmother, my dad's mother's father, he was William Kaler, and he's Irish. And he was very racist. We're not talking about black. He did not like Germans, he did not like Jews, and he didn't like Italians. And he's Irish. Now I'm thinking back just a short time before, and we're talking, this is 1946, the early 1900s, late 1800s, the Irish were just absolutely, and I don't mean to say this to the black community, they were white niggers, okay? Or white whatever. I mean, they were the scum of the earth. And so how do you be racist to all the other European, and Jews? I don't know. It don't even add up to me. But he did not like, and my grandmother, she got back at that man. She married an Italian. She married a Jew. And everything that he told her. So she had a lot of husbands. And that had to be damaging to my dad's siblings. It had to. It's messed up. It just, losing Mr. Orlando. After that, I really felt, Catherine had chaos, and we lost our Italian, our Latin background. It's gone. My uncle, they're just Americanized, washed out. Everything about their culture gone. And so I put it on Facebook about Vittorio Emauele Orlando, and to see what kind of response. And my sister, my youngest sister, did some type of ancestral internet type of research, And I'm going to tell you, we came up dead nothing. Now, my uncle, Jeff, my dad's half brother, he's went through some different one, but he's kind of secretive about, and that's not his father. Mr. Orlando was not his father. He is the German. His father was German, who married Catherine, who is possibly Irish and Scotch, maybe. And then my Uncle Jeff is kind of suggesting that she was adopted by William Caleb. I don't know if I trust Uncle Jeff. I love him. God bless him. He helped me out. Got me a home. Thank you, Uncle Jeff. I don't know about Trixie the whore. Sorry. And I think Mr. Kaler, just for helping Catherine, if he adopted her, God bless him. You know, I got his middle name. But he's racist. And Mr. Orlando had a lot of money and wealth. And it got, basically, William Kaler told my grandmother, we do not need this man's money. If the situation was possibly that we were descendants from Vittorio, maybe Anthony was related to Vittorio, Anthony Orlando Sr., the father of my father, in some way. What a terrible loss. Because this stupid racist Irishman possibly erased, what a tremendous loss to my name, to my dad's name. He made that decision because he was racist. And I'm a little angry at Mr. Kaler for that, because my last name is Orlando and I have very little understanding of the Italian culture or my family heritage. And that's partly also to Catherine. She took to her grave a whole lot of secrets, and I'm a little aggravated. And she's a little odd. She's a little odd woman. There were a couple different stories. My Uncle Jeff, he's tried, and you know what? That's his mother. And he said Mr. Orlando married Catherine. And there was some suggestion, possibly my Uncle Tony suggested Catherine was a mistress because he had another family in Italy. And that Catherine, he had a second family essentially in the United States and another family in Italy. And so, I don't know. That was a suggestion, I think, from my Uncle Tony. So, anyhow, I wanted to share my family heritage on my dad's side because I did a posting on Vittorio. And after I made that, I had people making different comments as I would pass by. And some of it was positive, sometimes some of it was negative. And so I wanted to share that on, that there's many Americans that their heritage has been lost. We all basically just mixed, and a lot is lost. Just like a lot of African people, they're still searching. They got brought over in slave ships, and they belonged to different tribes that were conquered by other tribes and sold into slavery, and their heritage is ripped from them. In America, we're dealing with that. That they're the tribes and things that were used to be important is just getting kind of lost because borders, don't mean so much anymore, and different types of people are mixing and crossing all over the world, and you have a mixture of people. And the tribal thing and the family clan thing or whatever word you want to use is kind of getting lost. And then you just have adoption as well. So you that throw that in, and you always have somebody that's adopted in your family line. So it's really challenging. And on my mom's side, and now I want to go a little bit of my mom, and then I don't have a lot because my grandmother, my mother's mother, was adopted, and she looks kind of heavy set. She had dark, greasy black hair, heavy set woman. She might have been Native American. The suggestion is she was from Canada, and I guess she was adopted by a well, big, nice family. They adopted her in Michigan, I guess. So my grandfather on my mother's side, his father is a German American, and so my father's parents are from Germany. So I have German heritage, and I'm pretty sure that because his name is Jerichow. Those are the only things that I can really confirm. Everything else gets kind of lost for me. So I'm Italian and German, but I know I'm more stronger in the Italian background. And so this is my story, and I just wanted to share it with y'all. Thank you very much.